This is the story of a seasoned traveler who made quite the amateur move. So let me just get into it. So ever since I've been in Brazil, I've been using my camera a lot. I have this fairly big, bulky lens. And so when I'm walking around, naturally it grabs people's attention. So one day, I'm just walking around the plaza near my apartment, taking some pictures, and I have the camera up to my eye. I'm in the middle of a shot. All of a sudden, I hear a voice shouting at me in Portuguese. I hope I'm not messing up your picture. My camera's not even pointed in the direction of a single human being. So I'm really confused as to where this voice is coming from and why it thinks it's messing up my photo. I drop the camera and I turn my head looking for this mystery voice. Finally, I look down the road and I see an elderly man walking up towards me with a smile on his face. Once I see him and we make eye contact, I respond, "Não, tá tudo bem. Eu nem tava olhando em sua direção." He continues walking up towards me. And once he gets to me, he says, "I took a photography course once. And in fact, I put up a tent once a week here in the plaza to sell some art." Now, I'm not really in the mood to have a conversation right now. I'm like in the zone. I want to take my pictures. But I'm also generally very open to random conversations. So I decide to engage, and actually, I'm a little bit excited. The first thing he says to me is he took a photography course once and he does art. And so, I'm excited for this artist to artist chat that's about to go down. He then asks me, "Where are you from?" And this is where I make my amateur mistake. I respond, "The United States." Now, I never tell random people on the streets when I'm traveling that I am from the United States. I am brown. This is the one context where it is a privilege to be brown. I can literally choose from 50 plus countries. Okay, so what is the problem with telling him that I'm from the United States? Well, if you're traveling anywhere other than Western Europe or Central Europe, to say that you're from the United States is essentially to say, I have money. So once I tell him I'm from the US, he starts to become increasingly curious. "Oh, você é de que estado?" "Sou da Carolina do Norte." "Ah, Carolina do Norte. Eu já ouvi falar." "Ah, é? E o que você sabe sobre a Carolina do Norte?" "Ah, na real, não muito." And we go back and forth for a couple minutes, talking about various things. Then finally, he asks me, "Are you gonna keep taking pictures here?" And I, thinking nothing of the question, respond, "Yeah, I'm just gonna take some more pictures." Well, I would very quickly learn that I was essentially communicating to this man that I have a bunch of free time for him to ask me to do whatever. And the next thing I know, he's asking me if I can take him to the market to buy him some bread and a drink. Now, at this moment, I am annoyed and flustered and a little bit angry, both with him and mostly with myself. He started out the conversation mentioning that he took a photography course, and the next thing I know, he's asking me if I can take him to the market. But more than that, I'm angry with myself because I just showed this man card after card after card. The camera, big bulky lens. Okay, there's not much I can do about that, to be fair. It's a camera and I have to hold it, so people are gonna see it. Okay, next card, I'm from the United States. And then, yeah, I have all the free time in the world. Feeling like I had already pinholed myself and not really seeing a way out of it, I say, okay, let's go. Now, I want to pause for a bit and admit that it sounds like I'm thinking about this whole encounter as a trap. Like this very well calculated plan to get this dumb American tourist to buy me something from a market. The truth is, I don't know. I really don't know this man's situation. It sounded like he was being really honest about everything, and so I'm just gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I also like to think that if someone is asking for food on the streets, then they actually need it. Also, I much prefer to buy someone something than to just give them money. So we walk 2 minutes down the road to the market, and this whole time, I am under the impression that he's gonna buy, bread and a drink, just like he said. He grabs a basket, he grabs some bread, and he grabs a drink. And the next thing I know, he is slowly grabbing more and more things to fill up his basket. Some frozen chicken, some snacks, etc. Now, I'm standing next to the cash register and I'm watching all of this unfold. And as I see him slowly start to fill out this basket, I am becoming increasingly agitated. This is much more than bread and a drink. And I don't really know what to do. I don't know how to be like, "Hey man, you said you're just getting bread and a drink. This is a lot more than bread and a drink, don't you think? I don't have the heart for that. And so I told myself, and so he comes up to the cash register, and it turns out to be like $20, and I pay for him. And then we leave, and we exchange a couple words outside of the market. He says thank you, and we part ways. I want to think about this whole interaction critically. What could I have done differently? There's a quote I read recently that goes like this: sacrificing for others must be a choice. If it is not a choice, it is only a rigid habit. In other words, we do it out of obligation, but it's not something we actually want to do. It needs to be challenged. Honestly, buying this man these items from the market was not out of the goodness of my heart. I was so frustrated with myself that I did it as a punishment for not having exercised better judgment. Essentially, what this boils down to is I was unable to set a boundary, and that left me feeling resentful. Now, this is a skill I am really trying to master in life. Being gentle with someone, but setting a firm boundary. I think it is a skill that saves you a lot of resentment in life. So maybe in an ideal scenario, I would have been so down to take this man to the market, being like, yeah man, let's go, let's get you whatever you need, and you'll be all set. But I think in order to do that, I would have had to really trust this man, this complete stranger that I had just met, and like completely trust his story and everything he said. And so that's not really a realistic scenario for me. On the opposite end of the spectrum, I could have been completely dismissive of the guy, completely ignored him, and just kept walking and doing my thing. But quite frankly, it's really hard for me to be that person, to do that to someone, especially if that person is approaching me with a smile and I can gauge that they have, a friendly sort of energy about them. I want people to feel comfortable approaching me. So what could I have done then to walk this fine line of not being rudely dismissive, but also not getting stepped all over? I think it could have looked something like this. At the point when he asked me if I can take him to the supermarket, I could say, I really enjoyed talking to you. You are such a great person, and I'm happy to give you a listening ear. But unfortunately, I cannot take you to the market. It was good talking to you. And that's it. Move on. Or had I felt okay and wanted to take him to the market, I could have been like, yeah, let's go to the market. You can choose up to 20 reais of things, because that's all I have on me. In both of the scenarios, I'm setting a boundary, yes, but I'm also being respectful of the fact that there's a human in front of me whose story I really don't know. That's not something I want to sacrifice. I don't want to jump to conclusions and treat them like they don't matter. At the very least, I can offer a listening ear, which I think is sometimes more valuable even than however much money this person may want. These situations that test me and leave me feeling uncomfortable are moments that get me thinking about the type of person I want to be. I kind of see these moments as bumpers. I come across several of these moments over the course of my life. And when I take the time to dissect them, and I come away with a new conclusion about how I can react better in a similar situation the next time it happens, then this little moment has nudged me back on track a little bit. And it's like with each moment, I'm sort of refining who I'm becoming as I keep moving into the future. This is one of my favorite things about the human experience, about being a human and having a functional brain. I possess a certain level of intelligence, right? And this intelligence is malleable. I have a brain that allows me to think about something that happened, to think about it critically. And then upon doing so, I can make a new discovery or create a new solution or a new response. That way, when I encounter that same situation later, I'll be better prepared. I think that's about it. Thank you for watching.